All right, so I had to, of course, get all the. Just about a little baby on me, carrying about maybe 2 infants. That's how heavy it is. Got an infant on my back, got an infant on my arm. But so yeah, it's a good pencil. Yeah, I still hold value to things like a pencil. But yeah, that's when I knew me and Terrell relationship wasn't gonna work. As far as men, young men, is because he cared about shit that was very stupid, very finite. You know, stupid shit like hair and mustaches and beards and dumb shit like that. So as life progressed, you know, people started saying, well, where's CJ? If they didn't know where I was, they'll ask Terrell. If they didn't know where Terrell was, they'll ask me. And me and Terrell, you know, we would always tell each other like, nigga, we don't really behave like two dudes that are always at each other's hip. And at one point, my coaches were like, hey, man, stay away from him. You know, it's the Carlton. You know, it's at some point, you know, y'all gotta. This is what my coaches were telling me. Like, you know, we know that you struggling, but they will watch Terrell every day, and no nothing pits a coach off more than a kid that can play sports but chooses not to because he's distracted by other shit. You know, and so my coaches were like, bro, you gonna have to leave him alone. You know, you are clearly an athlete. You got trouble with your grades and shit, but you just need to leave him alone because he's not going to add anything to your life. You know, and what ended up happening was, from me failing so much, at one point my coaches was like, hey man, you might have to just ask this nigga for his, you know, for his work. See if he can give you some answers or something like that. Yeah, they pulled that shit. And I told Terrell that because I didn't want Terrell ever to feel insignificant. I didn't never want him to feel like he's inferior to me just because I'm an athlete or anything. I used to tell Terrell, like, Terrell, you know, it's funny. These niggas actually telling me to copy your work because they want me to play on Friday. And Terrell would just be like, oh yeah, you know, that's fucked up. And I'm like, yeah, you know, the old high school, you know, narrative of, you know, use other people at the behest, you know, of their work so that you can succeed. And I was always in a situation where I could not copy work. Either my classes didn't match up, and you know, just certain things where it's like it wasn't as easy as just like, hey, give me the paper so I can copy it real quick. That was never the case. It was always a situation where I was damn near like left alone to do it. So that's exactly what happened. I went on to, you know, play football and do these things, and Terrell, he went home and played the game and, you know, eat candy and shit like that. That's what that's and we didn't stop being friends. You know, we never stopped being friends or anything like that. That was a very true testament to our friendship, the fact that I was doing something in my life that we never had each other in the back of our minds. Like, I want to do something with him. You know, he's my buddy. I want to dress like him. I want to do, no, hell no. We were very, very much different in our thinking. We didn't long for each other when we were away and all that other shit. We just lived. While everybody else, you could kind of see everybody try to make themselves friends. You know, they calling each other brother and shit. They ain't even brothers. Yeah, that's my little bro. That's my little bro. Shut the hell up. You know, so right after high school, Terrell ends up going to an art institute right here that I'm about to pass up. And when he got accepted into the art institute, he went to go live with his sister. Now, of course, this is our first year out of high school. And, you know, Seth's had a job since he was 16. So I'm kind of floating around just kind of doing my own thing, where at one point I told my dad I'm gonna go live with this chick in Huntsville. I told y'all this is the girl that I took away from my Caucasian friend Seth, because I backdoored him and told him or told her that all he wanted was sex. In which she was like, oh, well, thank you for telling me that. You know, you and I can, you know, hit it off or whatever. And we did. You know, she found me to be, you know, again, just that different black guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the pants sagging, Newport smoking, 40 having nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's actually a feeling of excitement taking me to her parents' house, letting them see, like, bro, not all black people act alike. You know what I'm saying? And again, I did that because I didn't want to live at the house with my stepmother. I had knew in the back of my mind that I shouldn't be leaving the house, but I did it because, like I said, I was getting more and more tired of my stepmother. Everybody at this point had already convinced me, like, bro, we see it. Like, we see how she treats you. And so when I had already confirmed it in my mind, and then you get other people telling you, adults and shit, you know, even though, you know, her own mother telling her, like, yeah, bro, I've noticed it and I don't like it. So that to me was like, all right, well, I really can't cry over that no more, because I'm out of school now, and now I got to make a life for myself. So I thought that I was good enough to go live with this chick, having no car, no job, no nothing. And I did that because, like I said, I knew that I'm the type of person you could live with, especially if you're my girlfriend. It's not so much for guys, because guys, especially today, they like to do a lot of pseudo homosexual shit and just a bunch of dumb shit that I don't like, and they don't want nobody like me around to silently judge them, to know that they doing stupid shit, and to know ain't nobody around to judge them about it. But girls, nigga, sex, company, cleanliness, you know, conversation, whatever it is, I got it for a female. And so we got along for 2 years, and things started to get very, very tense because of the things that I didn't have. And so I would make frequent phone calls to my dad, letting him know how I'm doing. It was kind of the start of a life that I thought was going to be, you know, me being successful outside of his house, you know, me being successful in ways that he didn't think I would, but the way he raised me, I was confident enough that I could do it. And, you know, you learn a lot when you're living with people and you don't have your own shit together, and you learn a lot when you're living with other people. And what I learned was my father should not have let me leave that damn house. You know, this should have been a situation where you sit down with your wife and your son and talk about what the fuck the problem is. But see, my dad's a coward. He doesn't want to, you know, to do something like that will put his marriage in jeopardy, because that's a serious sit down. This is my flesh and blood versus a woman that I married after my first wife. And dad didn't want to have to come to that revelation of, like, is this woman really treating my son in a way that's not going to help him? Instead, it's going to cause him to run and try to find, you know, refuge somewhere else. That's what he would have been faced with. Because I'd have told him, like, bro, I feel like I have to work harder to get treated normal. You know, I've gotten a dose of what it's like whenever I was in AEP, and I made A's and B's and high C's. And so my dad would say, yeah, man, good deal. Good deal. These people don't understand while I'm trying to go around their vehicles. I'm trying to go behind them so that they can keep going, because I hate breaking my stride. But that's what I would have told them. Like, bro, I'm leaving the house, bro, because I don't like living. I don't like this lady. I don't like her energy. I don't like nothing about this bitch. That's what it would have been. And dad would have been forced to make a decision as regards to what is about to stop and what's going to continue. And he ain't doing that. He ain't doing that. He don't want to cause that type of ruckus in his house. even though as a man, it ain't gonna be no ruckus. If I say something, that's it. If you don't like it, if you wanna get a divorce or whatever, then that lets me know you thought you was gonna run over my son and then come talk to me, so that when my son come talk to me, you've already created the narrative. And that's that shit I was talking about, where I was like, bro, from that point on, this shit wasn't no, I live with mom and dad and, you know, everything is white picket fence type shit. Fuck no. I noticed it. It was like, bro, my brother Xavier can shoot up a whole goddamn building and this woman's gonna have the type of... See, what was fucked up was that I actually had a chance to go stay with my mom, and to see the type of shit that you as an older brother get away with, it's undeniable that's that biological. You know, my mom used to tell me, like, CJ, she's not your mom. She's not your mom. That's why she's treating you like that. And I just thought, like, oh, you're just trying to tell me stuff to, you know, stir up the hornet's nest. No, she was right. She was right. No matter what, like, this woman just could not see. And like I say, I had friends and I had other people that be like, oh, my step parents are better than my real parents. And I would be like, oh, so that's actually a possibility? It's actually a possibility that I possibly just got this fucked up ass stepmom? Because again, another example was I had a stepdad. Rest in peace, David. But my stepdad, David, was great. Treated me like his own son. Never had to question, like, man, I don't want to be at my mama house because David there. Nope. So yeah, stepmom, you were fucked up, and you fucked up my life in a way that didn't have to go in that direction. And I really can't blame you, because, you know, you're already at that age where it's like it's pointless to blame you. Can't blame dad. But all I could do is play the game with the cards that's been dealt to me, which are some pretty shitty ass cards. So when I went to go live with that chick in Huntsville, that's what happened. Like, one day I just felt it. Like, I should turn around and ask her, did she want me to leave? Because I felt things getting to a point where all I was doing was playing the game and smoking and, you know, cleaning and doing shit around the house. I tell you, I don't need no fucking job. I know how to stay busy in real life. You know, and so I turned around and I asked her, like, hey, do you want me to go back to Wallace? And she looked at me and said, yeah, I do. Just like that. I mean, it was one of the most... See, this is what I mean by, even if I wanted to ignore it, I had a feeling like, bro, something ain't right. And so I turned around and I asked her that, and she looked at me and said, yeah, man, I want you to go. And I cut off the game, and of course was all right. I was like, all right, let's talk about it. Like, what's going on? And she was just like, bro, I feel like you just need to start over and you need to go back to Wallace. Now, of course, I was pleading with her, like, bro, I'm not trying to go back to Wallace. There's nothing there for me. My stepmom's a piece of shit. My dad's not going to help me do anything. I don't want to go back to Wallace. And she's like, it's not that bad, bro. Like, you're saying that right now, but trust me, like, you're going to get used to it because you need to start over. You living here anymore, like, it's not going to work anymore because she's lying to her dad about where the money's going. Because we were smoking dro. I didn't know how to conserve nothing back then as far as smoking. So we were spending like damn near, in some cases, $60 a day on weed. You know, 2 grams, because the grams were 20. He had $15 grams, and then he had $20 grams, which, you do the math, man, that's a lot of fucking money. She was the only one that had a job, not no high-paying super job, but it was basically a college job. And I wasn't the guy. My health at this point was so bad that the only thing I really was good for was sex and a conversation. My health was so bad where I didn't want to just, like, I didn't never know when the next migraine was gonna come. I never knew the next time I would have a cluster headache and I can't even open my eyes. So she would like rub my head and my back and shit. I didn't know what it was. So one day she goes to CVS and she buys these pills, migraine relief. It was a bottle of 100. She buys these pills and she's like, here, take these, see if it helps. And yeah, it helped early on. It helped in the beginning. But what started happening was I started having to take more and more and more and more of these pills. And what eventually started happening was I started taking too many. I've never taken pills up until this point. I've taken Ritalin and shit like that, but at this point I wasn't used to taking medication. And and that girl looking at me like, it's like, you could tell, man, people just see something, they like, you homeless? The fuck? It's a cute chick. But anyway, yeah, started taking too many. And what happened was that was the beginning of how bad my health got. Excuse me, guys. That was the beginning. I found a job. Don't really remember how, but I ended up finding a job. It was my first job, and I still had that feeling of excitement and anticipation of starting a job. Didn't really know, because my only experiences with jobs was those jobs that I told y'all where my health was so bad I couldn't even stand up. So jobs to me, you'd have thought I was flying, you thought I was working for like an offshore oil rig or some shit. Shit that normally dudes quit after like 2 weeks because it's just too much. But nah, it was the fact that now I'm taking these pills, and what it's doing is it's stripping the calcium and shit from my bones. So I ended up getting real weak, real weak, man. Just could never do anything, like just always tired, taking naps during the day, and just felt like complete shit. What's funny, guys? When I tell y'all no shortcuts and no skipping steps, that really does fit my life. I managed to make a video walking and talking and ended up at the food bank quickly, as opposed to the last time I tried to take a shortcut and ended up somewhere that I did not know where the hell I was, and I had walked for like 2 hours that day for no reason. I think I even made a video that day saying that I didn't need to make a video because I was upset, but no skipping steps, man. Sometimes you just take the path that's there and just hope for the best. And I can honestly say I'm glad I chose to just stay on the path and not take a shortcut. But yeah, man, when I got to that point, she was telling me like, you're just, you're not getting it together and stuff like that. So by the time I got my first job out there at Dairy Queen, I actually got the job. As a matter of fact, I remember now, small world, a guy I went to school with. When I actually got sent back to Wallace by her, this was the moment in which I experienced heartbreak. I think I would say that was my second time or first time experiencing heartbreak, where somebody they don't want you around, they don't want your company, and you could tell the type of guy that I could tell that she wanted something else. She didn't want to be with the guy who gets migraines, and she wants to go out dancing and things of that nature, white boy shit. And I'm not tripping. Because when I look back on that shit, man, I have a couple insecurities about myself physically that I don't want to subjugate any woman to. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you like to dance and shit, I ain't no dancing nigga. Period. I jug, but I ain't no dancing nigga. What's jug? Nigga, I may bob my head or, move my body a certain way to the music, but I ain't no nigga that's finna stand in no motherfucking dance line with a bunch of other dudes or by myself. I ain't the dude that's finna put it this way, I'm very timely with my shit. If a girl say, baby, you want to dance? And we get up and we dance, yeah, I'll dance with you. I understand the significance behind women's emotions and those type of things. Dancing and cuddling and all that other shit. Now, it does come a time where I'm gonna want you to wake up and smell the coffee and say, like, hey, man, my nigga just not into that shit. You know, don't keep trying to force the issue on something that you know I don't like or I don't really care for. And let's see. So she at that point was like, yeah, man, just go back to Wallace. And it took me a while to, you know, to convince myself to do so. But there was one day in particular where I lost my patience, just like I did recently by getting fired at Walmart, where I got mad one day and I told her that I was gonna go to Walmart and just take whatever we needed. We didn't have any money. I was angry. And so she was like, look, dude, you can do that, but just don't do it in my car. I didn't care. I was disrespectful. And I took her car because I told y'all with those migraines, I barely got any sleep. So I would be up all night. And I was up early and I took the car and I went to go steal the shit from Walmart. And when I did that, of course, I got caught. I didn't know I was getting caught, but I got caught by a secret shopper. And at that moment, that was the start of my criminal life, where they were like, look, man, if you got anything else on you, you need to take it out, you know, basically make this as easy as we can. So I was like, yeah, all right, fuck it. So, of course, I cooperated. They took me into booking. When I bonded out or whatever, of course, I had started thinking like, yeah, I see why she wants me to leave, because I'm a fuck up. And so I went back to Wallace, and my friend Drake, the guy I went to school with, he saw me walking just like I am now, walking into town, and he said, hey, man, where you been? I told him, I said, man, I used to live in Huntsville. He's like, bro, for real? He's like, nigga, I go to school out there still. He said, bro, I work at the prison out there. And I was like, oh, shit, well, you know, he was like, yeah, man, if you ever want a job or anything, he's like, I got another job over at Dairy Queen. I'm a manager. So if you ever need a job, bro, just let me know. I was like, whoa, what a small world. So I actually packed up my bags, went back out to Huntsville with him. Didn't notify the girl because I have a mentality in which I don't want to be a bugaboo. You know, I want to get my shit straight and then, you know, try to fix it. So I come back out there and she's already fully involved with somebody else. Not intimately, but the laptop that she used to use for school, I used the laptop to do my research and watch shows like Alex Jones, Chronicles of Judah, and I go into search history to just see, you know, has any of my, you know, tabs been opened and shit, and all I see is she's done mad research on some guy that, come to find out, this is a guy that I was being served by at McDonald's. When I seen the name, I said, bro, I know this nigga. He's the same guy that I talked to at McDonald's. So I notify her, because at one point she was like, you know, do you want to hang out? So that's how I ended up coming around again. I lived with Drake. I didn't live with her. So small, Huntsville, no, it's pretty small. So I walked to her house, hang out with her for a little bit. I think we had sex maybe once or twice. And that's significant because, you know, it always told me, like, it taught me about the whore's mentality. about the city girl, about the college girl. Y'all scared of heights? I am. About the college girl, the city girl. It showed that type of character to me, plain as day. I used to tell her, I remember one time, I was in some jeans. I looked like a cowboy. I was in some jeans, some boots, and like a flannel shirt, but it was tucked in. And she was walking behind me down the stairs. And she was like, "Why couldn't you dress like this when we were together?" Knowing I was living with her already. So it's stuff like that that was just like just straight slap to the face, you know. But living with Drake, I ended up I had a pending case that I was unaware of, that when me and Kara got into an argument and she tried to take my stuff and like physically throw it out of the apartment, and I wasn't the type of dude to put his hands on a chick, because I had already knew at that point, I don't slap box, I don't play fight, because I'll fucking kill you. I'll hit you too hard or whatever the case may be, and then we not playing no more. So I was always aware of my strength, where I was just grabbing her arm and her hand like, "Get your hands off my shit, bro. You're not finna start throwing out Xboxes and shit, flinging it in the air. Like, you're not doing that." And so I was standing between her and my stuff, and we were just like, we were standing like in a small space, bro, like the wall and the bed. And so we were damn near like nose to nose. And I just kept taking her hands like, "Get your hands off my shit, bro. Get your hands off my shit, bro." In which, of course, she's white. So just by deflecting her hand from going somewhere, you're going to bruise her if you hit her. If you even tap her, she's going to bruise. So that's what the case was. She goes to school. This was all while I was in Wallace. She goes to school and she's like, she tells me that the teacher was like, "Who did this?" And she told the teacher, like, "I got into it with my boyfriend. He didn't beat me or anything like that. Like, it's nothing." And from what she said, it was like, "No, they made it something." Now, keep in mind, her dad's a lawyer. Her Caucasian parents are business oriented. It's like they damn near just got, because she married into a stepmother as well. And so that was another thing. Kara was like, "Bro, my stepmom is a bitch too." Or like she would say like her stepmom's trying way too hard to gain her acceptance. And Kara was just like, "Bro, you're not my mom." So I seen kids, once again, don't even want to accept their step parents, even though their step parent is trying to help them. I've seen it because they live with this Hollywood mentality of, "You're not my real mom. You're not my dad." It's like, bro, you don't get it. You're like, I'm actually better than your biological parent. So when they did that, I came back to Huntsville, and of course, one day I had got off from work at Dairy Queen, and I head home, and I head to Drake's house. One of the employees dropped me off, and that's important because what I didn't know at the time was the cops was on their way up there. The cops were on their way up there, and whenever they got to Drake's house, they told Drake, I was in the house for a little bit, and I told Drake, like, "Hey man, I got a ride home, don't worry about it." And so when I told him that, he was like, "Okay, bro." He was like, "Cause he said the cops just left the job." And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, why?" And he's like, "They're looking for you." And I'm like, "Bro, stop bullshitting. Like, I ain't that type of person, bro, for police to be looking for me. Like, what are you talking about?" And he was like, "Bro, they're on the I was sitting at the house getting ready to load the pipe, smoke, and here they come knocking on the door. I ain't answering nobody's door. So even though I live with y'all, I'm not answering nobody's door." So Tim, the black guy who also smokes weed in college and stuff like that, he answers the door. Tim answers the door, and the cops are like, "Are you Charles?" And of course, I'm sitting on the couch with the weed and everything. I'm never one to hide shit and all of that. Like, I don't care. So he comes in and he's like, "Hey, how you doing, man? You got an arrest warrant you know, and we just, you know, they don't tell you what it's for, because they expect you to start acting a fucking fool. Like, I ain't going nowhere. But I was like, well, for what? And they were just like, oh, well, you know, we'll tell you when you get down. And my brain's already like, I already know, like, you're trying to suppress information from me to cause me to go and act fucking stupid so that y'all can flip me on my head and add charges. It's not gonna work here, buddy. So I put my hand behind my back and I'm like, okay, I really wasn't even talking. I wasn't talking because I already knew how the game go. And he looked at the tray that I had that I was rolling the weed on, and he was like, why do you have Kara Davis card? I was like, nigga, nice try. It's a fucking card to roll weed with, you fucking prick. What do you think? I just beat the bitch and then go take her credit card? You know, is that what they showing y'all in orientation? Nah, bro, that ain't me. This is a card that is outdated and it's used to scrape up weed. And so he takes the card. He's like, oh, I'm gonna take it. You know, I'm gonna take it. I'm like, again, bro, like, so you act like that and you think I'm gonna cooperate? So we get in the car. He's like, you know why you're being arrested? I didn't even say nothing. I mean, because at that point in my life, it was like a movie. You know, everything that I've been through up until that point, now I'm in like some type of movie scene where I'm going to jail. And I'm asking myself, like, I'm telling myself, like, bro, I ain't saying shit to you. I already know how this shit go. You're not going to try to help me out. You're going to sit here and tell me, you're a good kid, man. You're good. Shut the fuck up. So he's like, do you know where you're going? I didn't say nothing. He asked me again, hey, do you know why you're going? You know, I can help you, man. Just talk to me. I was like, I ain't got shit to say to you. I have nothing to say to you. I already know how this goes. So he's like, how did you end up with Paris' card? And I'm like, first of all, dude, you're not allowed. You're not an investigator. You know, you're supposed to take me to the station and leave. Like, we don't have to talk. So and I'm looking at him in the mirror with these looks like, why the fuck would you ask me that, you dummy? I ended up with the card, you fucking asshole, because we dated. We dated, you dummy. We actually dated. And the card is not anything important. I say, nigga, if you smoke weed, you know goddamn well people scrape up weed with the card. Stop playing dumb. Stop trying to make it something that it's not. And so he was just like, well, you seem like a good guy, man. You know, you just, and I'm rolling I'm in the back of the truck, rolling my eyes like, here we go, shut up. So we get there, and this was the start of my jail experience. So I'm at 30 minutes now. Yep, this is a start. It's gonna start getting very interesting. If not, it's already been interesting. You know, this was the start of another layer of my personality being peeled back of like, bro, it's evident to me that I'm just a different type of cat, man. You know, I didn't graduate high school, thus giving me the hunger to want to actually know something in life. Something that'll help me in real life. Not memorizing a bunch of papers so that I can try to shove them on or shove the answers on a piece of paper and hope I pass. And then I don't even remember the information. There's something more to life than what I was dealing with. It was evident to me that I knew I was going to have to work harder than everybody else because I didn't have my biological parents in the house. So, y'all stay tuned for the jailhouse stories. They will blow your mind. I'm happy to tell them. As you guys can see, man, I'm honest as they can be. I'm unabashed about any and everything. I don't care about being judged. I don't care about negative comments. I don't care about none of that shit. You know? So that's gonna be it, guys. I got quite a bit to do. My day ain't over yet, but I'll talk to y'all later.